Team, welcome back. We are in the day 03. Shorter sessions we're having, each is being not more than 30-40 minutes, I believe. So smaller information for us to be able to bite and chew. Pretty much, Tim, yesterday what we were talking about is how we can break up an application down. And the most important aspect for you is to know this part of it, team. Number one, you can talk about let us say this box represents your entire application. Okay? Think of it like this, team. You know, if you look at a huge building, it looks big, humongous. Okay? But if you break it into floor by floor, into home by home or apartment by apartment, it is manageable. You at least know what is where or who is where. So it is organizing ourselves. So the first thing that we do to organize is divide this entire application into modules, and they could be of different sizes, team, okay, and different functionalities. Each module is the one which would have the smaller test cases as to what has to be done within it. These test cases cover the functionalities. Everyone with me? I'm assuming that you're all pretty brand new into testing and IT and approaching it that way. So we have applications, and under applications we have modules, and under modules we have test cases. And now when we talk about a test case, it is covering a functionality. We'll talk about what I need to do. And yesterday we were trying to write some basic test scenarios using an Excel sheet. Instead of writing it on a local machine using Microsoft Excel on my desktop, I put it on the cloud using Google Drive. So I took which application team? Was it AnyAUT itself? Yes. So for us, as a sample, we took AnyAUT.com, Orange, and we said, how can a user? Everyone, everything okay? I have a hand raised, not sure what is the reason. If you have a question, please put in the chat. Why is the hand raised? Let me see. I don't know. I don't think you can hear. You're not connected to the audio, Nicholas. So I don't know how you'll interact with me. I can't even raise or put the hand on. Let me send a quick chat message. Connected the audio. Please check. Right, team, I'm going to continue one of the participants. So what did we do? We took our application and a test. Let's put in your on/orange in a private browser. That way it's not already logged in. And when I'm going to sign in, what do I see? When I'm going to log in, what do I see? And these details is something that I'm trying to incorporate. And what we did is we broke down the entire application called AnyAUT into modules. Only 4 modules for now. We're not covering all of it. And each module will have certain test cases. So I'm writing about 4 test cases for joiners and maybe something for login as well. And what do these test cases mean? It covers specific functionality. So if I expand this diagram, team, into, let us say, one test case, okay? This green thing, or rather this green thing, or any of this, is becomes one test case, everyone. Okay. A test case consists of nothing but steps, and they have a specific order in which you have to do those executions. Each step will have certain information, team, that will help us to tell what to do. Okay. Now, please note this. For a module, I'll write it down. Be easier in English too. Every application and test can be broken down into modules. Each module contains test cases. Each test case contains test steps that need to be executed in the exact order. Now, this is how we have broken down our application into modules. Modules becomes test cases, and then each test case contains several steps that need to be executed in that order. And that's exactly what we wrote here. So for each test case, we went to the test steps and said, so listen, for me to do a correct login, I need to open Chrome, go to the website, click on the login, enter correct username, password, click on sign in, verify. And in fact, here this is correct login and this is incorrect login. So verify dashboard. Now, let me explain this evening. All of you are with me. We're going to pick up speed very critically, team. And today we're going to get to Selenium Ide also. We're going to do a little bit more into automation, slowly building it up. Now, what is this? This is the view of an application when we log in. And if I log in successfully, I would see something like this. Welcome Karthik, the menu bar, a logout option. That tells me that I'm logged in, correct? If I do the same here with an incorrect information, okay, and password, I will do something crazy. So sign in. This is what it should tell me, invalid email or password. Now, this basically is what is signifying every module needs to be thoroughly tested. Hence, we need to write many test cases / scenarios to handle various usages of that feature in this memo. So if you remember, I was showing you one of the other diagrams. Was it this one? See, from going from A to B, there are different routes. There's route 1, there's route 2, there's route 3. So developer might just do one, developer is doing for one, second developer is doing for second, third developer is doing for third. When you write test cases, you want to make sure that you do it for all of it. So goal is the same, go from A to B. But you may go through one route or second route or third route, right? As a QA engineer, we have to test all the routes. So that means we are comprehensively testing. Very important to know, rather know and measure. Know is what? To measure comprehensiveness of our test scenarios. Keep this as notes, team. This will be handy for you as we keep going along. Now, let's talk about, so application and test has modules. Modules have test cases, good. Test cases have test steps. So far, so good. It is almost like saying we have an apartment building, then we have, lot of floors in it. Each floor has many wings and each wing has many homes in it. How do we divide? And we have come to a test step. Now, test step. And we should also talk about critical or QA roles in 2020. So you'll understand what's happening. Sorry, needs to be returned based on, let me zoom this. Based on who the test executor will be. Okay? So for example, self writing test cases. I write test cases. I maintain it and execute. So if you understand Good. If you need to explain to your team, sure, you can do that, and that's fine, team. So that's one option where you are the only tester who's working on your documentation. Now, what do I mean to be saying? Needs to be written based on test step, needs to be written based on who the test executor will be. Self. I write test case, maintain, execute. That's fine. That's good. 2. Team is there. We have a QA team. So here, this is sample. Let's see. Someone or anyone in a QA team may need to use your test cases. So you need to write test cases. So it should be easier for someone else also to understand. Here, almost like your handwriting. If you understand, fair enough, more than enough. In a QA team, so it should be more clarity on what each test case does. So I want another, so it is a human to human communication team, and they would do it. Okay, so you basically, you write, someone else may run. Fair enough. Okay. Now comes the third one, and here, so you're getting better at writing test cases. We need to talk about that. So let's talk about these first two things and where we are failing in this. Okay. And then we'll come to the third. So look here, team. When I say open Chrome, it's fine. Now, if I keep this to myself, just imagine this. I'm in the first scenario here. Okay. If I keep this to myself and no one else is going to look at this document, I think this documentation is fine. If I want to send it to anyone in this current class and say that, guys, can you also do the same exact things as I'm doing? Then comes a few more questions. All right, you know what? Thank you. Looks good. I will do that. But when you say, oh, go to the application, okay, I have it here. Click on login. How do I click on login? Someone new will go in and take a look and say, oh, you know what? I can see the login button here. This should be the one. And fair enough, I understand what you wrote here. Then you say enter correct username. Then you say enter password. And this becomes a problem. How do I know what username and passwords you are entering? Could be random, but I should be very clear. Correct username, correct password. A little bit more about the test step is required when I have to explain it to another human. Okay, so in this case, the advantage is other human is smart enough, hopefully, so can pick up what you were trying to say. All right, everyone. Then comes the other challenge: robots, machines, or what we can also call as automation tools. Now here is the problem, team. Please understand them. I'm not talking about, this is not AI. Okay, this is not artificial intelligence. Please keep that away from it. We're talking about basic robots. They're dumb. They have no processing of new ideas. So expert at doing what you ask them to do. If there is a clarity, needs lot of clarity, as they are non-human, as they don't, as they rather do not have human intelligence. Are you getting what I'm saying? And that is where we need to be able to provide more details. So a typical test case has this, a step has this. For me to tell what I need to do, an instruction to a tool, to an automation tool. Let me say automation tool should go as what to do, where to do, and let's say any other additional info that is required. Now, for example, let's talk about instructions. Okay, the instruction can we go get a cup of water? So there is a what here, and it needs to know where the water is. Okay, so that's some amount of details that it has, and now it has to go about executing the process. Or I'll say move the cube by 2 feet. So here comes a sentence where it will try to understand how to move, by where, from where to where, and it says 2 feet, move the cube north by 2 feet. So I'm saying my action in this case, can I draw on this? I don't think there's a free drawing thing. So here what happens is move is what to do, and cube is the where to do, and then we say data or information that I need is north by 2 feet, and then it becomes clear for it. And that's exactly how I want to break down a test case. So we're speaking briefly about more how automation tools can do, as long as they know what to do, where to do, and info. This what to do is something we can call as a command or a method. Okay? And sometimes we can also call this as a keyword. I'll come to it. Now we will start understanding. Where to do is, in a physical world, I'll tell a GPS location, or I'll send a Google pin or an address, a zip code, and so on to tell where it is. In the world of automation, as we go along, we will learn something called as element identification, and how we can go about identifying different elements that we will find on the web page using the properties that we will see in the HTML code. That's something we have to master and learn to be a good automation engineer. Everyone must know this thing. Every QA engineer who's working or doing automation must know and master element identification. So where to do is element identifications. Now, everything that we see in the web page are considered elements. And to identify them, we will use element identification. And information is nothing but, for me to execute, I need some kind of a data. Talk about it as data that I need. Remember these three things. And now what I will do, I will take this into the next version. So I have my modules for that application, test cases under it, and I have my test steps. So see what I will do here. To this test step, I'm going to add 3 more columns here. Remember, the first one is what to do, where to do. Okay, there it is. Yeah. And then where to do and data. So I'm going to call this as keyword. I'll call this as element identification. I will call this as data. Fair enough. These 3 are the important ones that could help us to talk a lot more on automation. So when I say this, I will now change every test step in this way. So it'll tell me what to do, where to do, and so on. Okay? Now there's a problem, team. Here we'll need a tool with common list of commands Rather, I'll say Selenium is such a tool with common list of commands that will help us to automate web apps. But we'll talk about this now. For us to get into this, the most important thing is for us to start looking at Selenium, as in how we download and get to it. So let's go to seleniumhq.org, which I believe now has changed to everyone. Selenium dev.dev, right? Is it? Yeah. Seleniumhq.org. It'll read that. There we go. So team, when we're talking about Selenium, it's very simple, team. In the sense, first and foremost thing about Selenium, most simplest automation tool so far, has the power to go pretty complex. Okay, so it has the power and capability to go complex, but it comes out of the box very simple, team. And you need to divide it into few things. There is a Selenium IDE for quick automation tests, record and run, and then it's there. I wanted to write something else. I forgot. 1 second. Quick automation test, record and run, and we look at element identification also in here, and then we will talk about, I think, more or less about their team. Okay, then comes Selenium WebDriver. That will help us to connect directly through our programming language, and this is where we can use Java, Python, C#, Ruby on Rails, etc. But what very important from WebDriver is all WebDriver commands. That becomes. Then we will call about human built frameworks, popular SaaS and open source / free automation frameworks. So you basically, if you know all of these well, team, into how we do it, you are an SDET or AnyAUT certified developer. You're comfortable with this, going at this way. Selenium grade is a conceptual thing that will help us to we'll play around how we can execute it in a grid environment that we run tests across a farm systems. So, but then how about cloud testing? So all these concepts will come, and yeah, we have to go take a deep dive into one of the other. But let's start with Selenium Ide team. It should be pretty simple for us. Actually, let me see if I can do Selenium Ide tomorrow, because there's this QA roles that I wanted to talk about. Selenium.dev and so here is where we go into the downloads and looking at where we have the latest Selenium web drivers and so on. When it comes to IDE team, you're not looking at downloading anything because your IDE comes as a add-on or a plugin for popular browsers. So what you do is from Chrome or wherever you are, right click on those 3 dots go to more tools, go to extensions, if I'm not wrong, and search here for Selenium IDE. So it should be by default installed team, or you can search and download that extension. Can someone try to do that right now and show me if it is not installed? I'll make you a presenter. We can see your screen and do it. And once it is there, you will notice that if you go to, it should be right here somewhere actually. There you go. That's my Selenium IDE on Chrome. So here you basically can, there's a concept of projects. Do not focus or worry too much on IDE features. Use it for basics only. Don't try to master IDE team. There's nothing much in Selenium IDE apart from what we will try and cover. Now what I'm going to do, let's replicate the same we wrote test cases using Selenium. Which tests are we talking about? Let's say this guy, this incorrect case. So for me to replicate that team, what we do within IDE is, I'll say I'm recording a new test. Record is the first thing we will do. So while it does that, there's record and write element identification. Right, you have custom Selenium IDE test. Basically without recording. That's where you will get more comfortable. Let's give this project the name. We'll give it the same as we did it for other application. The test is AnyAUT and say OK for it. And my base URL is where? Here. Index.php. This is start recording. So what it does is, oh no, it's going to be logged in version. I don't think Chrome browser would do it. Okay, let me try again. So see what is happening at this moment is you see the Selenium ID's recording icon coming in, and it is trying to capture those steps that we have done, team. So so this is the layout of what you need to see for this small IDE. How many of you are seeing this for the first time? Can you please mention this in the chat? Just saying the first time looking at it. Thank you. So now I know that there are a few of you first time. Some of you not the first time, that's all. I want to be able to give you the insight onto it and take you through it. Now, so this is our Selenium IDE. That's a tool. Think of it as like an application by itself. It is sitting on your browser, team. It works on your browser. So it's not something separate from your browser. It is an add-on to your own browser or an extension. It is not really installed on your system, but you can save them on your system. Now what happens is it is recording a test without my application in the correct shape. So I'm going to stop this. Okay. Red button is for me to stop. Is asking for me to give it a name. I'll just say wrong test record. I'll try and delete this later, but I gave it a name. The project name has come here, team. Whatever I write here is coming here. So IDE is basically projects, and projects have something called as test cases, I believe, or tests, and tests will have steps. Steps, and each step will have a lot of information. What I want you to look at or focus is the aspects of this team. There are three things to it. There's this menu bar out here. If you see, it's a very simple one, not much into it. It's got something to do with test. There's a plus sign here. There are a few play buttons and record and open, save. It's hence you can assume that this is not something which is a complex functionality application. Something easy that we can understand. Then there is this next section here, which looks interesting. There is something called command, a target, and a value out here. I like what I see so far. This looks like each of them being test steps in the order in which we want it executed. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the final one is this block. The final one is this bottom block, where we will see a lot of documentation reference. And also as the tests execute, you would be able to see what is happening. But that becomes your layout. So this is primarily into three sections, team. You have one section here, you have one section here, you have a second section here, the third section here. So let's do this again. What we're going to do is, this didn't happen, so I'm going to say plus, it adds a new test. I'm giving it a name. Remember what we got from there, this name? Let's put this name. The test that we did manually, which only humans can execute, is out here. The same test we will try and do it here using Selenium Ide. So this is my first test case that we're doing. The option for us is to click on record. So record is an instruction to Selenium Ide saying observe and note everything I do on the web server. Identify all elements that are needed. Capture required test data. Now this is what it does. So what do I mean? As soon as I start record, it would go to the application that I want to launch. So right now, my base is the URL team. When I say AnyAUT.com, it goes to AnyAUT.com. So record launch the application for me. I'm going to click on login and then enter some gibberish here. I'm sorry. And some more gibberish here. And then sign in. And do you see all this? Recording is Selenium Ide is recording. All that we're doing is getting captured somewhere here. And then I have this out here. At this point in time, let us right click on this message. And the only other small thing I'll show you, team, you'll see a Selenium IDE option here. If you right click on any other web page when the recording is not happening, you would not see the Selenium IDE come here. Now you see Selenium Ide. What I want to do is I want to verify if this text is there. I'll just say verify text. And that's about what I want to do. I'm done. So I'll stop. Now, easiest way for me to verify that run is to basically verify what we recorded. Run to test the AUT or run as part of a test suite with many tests. So what I mean to say is right now I have a wrong test record earlier that I did, recording 4 steps there, and there is this one here, another test case with few steps. So as I click on the left side, my right side content is changing. But what remains constant are these 4 features. The first one is called your base URL. That is where launch URL for recording or for execution. So as soon as I say start the test, execute it by using this run, it will open that specific URL that is mentioned here. The next three ones are command, target, is it data info value? What is it? Now, remember I was talking about for us to be able to write a test case for humans, it is easy. We can, for ourselves, we'll not write much. But everyone in the team to understand, we have to be more descriptive, ensure everyone can understand it's all good. For robots and machines, we have to be very, very explicit. We have to clearly mention everything. There should be no question. Otherwise, you'll see the world going in a different direction. So there's no human supervision here anymore. You trust a robot to take its code. For us, most importantly, what to do, where to do, and any info data that is required. Now observe this. The same thing as we kept recording team got in here. The command is the what portion. The target is the where portion. The value is my data. So each command does something specific. Like if I click on open and click on this reference, it will tell you what does open command do in Selenium IDE. It says opens the URL and waits for the page to load before proceeding. This access both relative and absolute URLs. So that's a documentation. The so is everything that you will notice with every other command. So select window, what does it do? Click, what does it do? So that's your internal reference team. Use this internal reference to just understand how Selenium IDE commands have been built. This is the same logic that has been evolved since the last decade, I would say, that evolved into Selenium the way it works. So what are the different commands? Even if you look at the earlier tools like HP, qtp, UFT and all that, pretty much the same fashion. The next is the target as to how do we identify any element. And this we will take a deeper look in next session. What is this ID equals this all of this data? And then the value. It is the same thing that has come up here. So when I run this test now, look at it executing everything back for us. And what it gives me is called the results. The results basically go about saying every green step is saying that, hey, you know what, you asked me to take a step forward. I took it and everything went well. I did not fall. I did not crash. I did not do something wrong. Why is so much communication necessary between a human and me? Because I'm acting like a robot. And a robot requires a lot of instructions to be given initially and constantly whenever it is having a decision making. So everything going fine basically means that all is well, there's nothing wrong in it. Okay, now for example, I mess it up. So I can go, I'm sorry, and change things, team. See, this is a command called verify text. And if I click here, this is the portion where I can take any step, one step at a time, and edit it below. Do you understand, team? I can click on a step and edit it below. So I have my project. Under that, I have test cases. Each test case has command target value, and you can edit them. So far, so good, basics. And you're going to try and repeat the same thing at your end. If you're not able to find Selenium IDE, do me another favor, team. You can always directly go to selenium.dev. It was there actually. Downloads. So go to downloads and scroll down. You'll see the link for Selenium IDE also here. Then Chrome, Firefox, and so on. Previous IDE versions. I'll paste this link in the chat. Team, I'm currently only doing about 45-minute sessions max because Python training also is going on. Maybe another week and a half or so for the Python training. We will come to it. Okay, after that. All right, great. So I put that. And let's get back to the topic where we are. And here we are. So now, so does that mean that all of us, we need to master what all are the commands and how to identify right away? No, we'll take about a week, team. And instead of IDE so much, we'll do the same with WebDriver later. We'll do it with AnyAUT. It is not important as to what each of these are right now. Try and read them as much as English. There is nothing impossible like a code or a logic that's coming. Simple record and run. Now the same thing I can do for something else. So let's say I want a new test case. Just playing it. PC02 play. Added. Let's not record this time. I want to write it. My first command should be to open. So open the target is very important. See, if I say just // I'm going to nothing but AnyAUT.com/. Okay. Now, if I say AnyAUT.com/orange, I will go directly to that page. /orange. Actually, I was supposed to do something else and it came off. So, not value, sorry. In the target, I will say /orange. Now, you observe what will happen. This is my first test case, team. Now, verified text, what is there here, is expecting to see each test what happened. It is showing us it's executing. It's executing, right? It's gone to that. This test, forget this orange right now because I double clicked it did something. I'm going to change thing. So let us say I'm not expecting this text. Please invalid email address or password ID. This is the change that happened to the application. Developer made this change. So when the developer user is logging in, they will see invalid email ID here or password. So ID word has been added. But we as a testing team did not change it for whatever be the reason. Okay, C drive. Training. JPACT 12. And I've changed that last one to a different text. Now I'm going to rerun this test team. The first one that we recorded. I'm running this again. Let's see, every green basically means all is well. Gray means I've not yet executed. When it shows a red, it primarily means to us that, hey, you know what, something went wrong. And you can look at your log team. It will tell you basically as to what happened. I executed this, everything went okay, this went okay, this went okay. See the step numbering, very important, the order. And then finally, if an issue came up, it won't leave us high and dry. You know what, issue came up, leave it, get out from here. No, it's basically gonna try and give us some kind of a clue as to, hey, you know what, something went wrong, do you want to check it? And so on. So it will tell you very clearly what it is expecting. So I saw this, but it did not match what you were expecting. And that's an error. So my test case fails. The same thing, team, I'll show you how we can do it on AnyAUT Excel as well. And write a few more tests here, learn a little bit about automation and keep going. In increments, we will try and learn every concept. For example, Selenium Ide will learn it in increments. WebDriver will learn it in increments rather than sitting down and say, let us learn all the WebDriver before we go for it. Team, I know I wanted to do some Q&A also with you. I know you're getting ready with practice and everything. It's going to get slowly technical, slowly hands-on. You will need to do a lot of coding at your end too. And let's do that, team, maybe from next session. That's it from my side. Would have loved to take questions if there are any. If there are not many, team, I want to jump into my Python class immediately then. Is that fair if I jump there? I'll see you all in the next session. Maybe not tomorrow. I may have something tomorrow, but day after for sure. All right, everyone. Thank you then. Bye for now.